So let's start with talking about this one. I'm just going to bear with me. I'm just putting things in the right boxes so when I come to do things in a moment, I'll know what I'm doing. So, Hixxycrafts make an amazing range of planner things. So they have planners like this. Now I have written these down so that I don't get these wrong. So they do this A5 planner, which is what this page would be suitable for. They also do one called a sidekick, which is smaller. The same. They do similar sort of planners. These are empty. And so this one is 9 inches by 6 1/4, and the smaller one, the sidekick, is 7 1/2 by 5 1/4. Now the Irish shutter die set is actually designed for the size of a sidekick page, but what I've done is I put it on an A5 planner page. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. I also, as you can see, I don't have the journal. I've kind of just started to create my own. I've got sort of a hard, some grey board, which at some point I will get around to decorating. So we're going to have a look at this. So the page is just cut from one of the planner pages. There are all sorts of variations that you can find. I have decorated it on both. But what my main focus is to show you how to use this Iris shutter die to create this. Okay, so there's going to be two parts really to this demo. One is to show you how you actually create the iris shutter, and then the second putting the bits together. The other die set that I've got that I'm using from Elizabeth Craft is this one, which when you look at it you think, oh, what on earth is that? And when I picked it up, I was like, okay. They are for reinforcements. So like here, you can see where you have the holes, and you know, they're always the bits that are weakest. So this is reinforcement pack 2. So there is another one, but they are just so fun. I mean, I'm amazed. I love them. I mean, these ones I've actually used as the focal point for my iris shutter. I've used the camera to show, you know, put some photos here on the back. These ones are great. They fold over. Yeah, just loving it. And use them for your tags and all sorts. So that's a really, really strange, seemingly strange, but a really, really amazingly useful die set. So let's get on to start by looking at these dies. So this is the mechanism. This is what it looks like underneath all of the lovely prettiness. And to create that, you need these parts of the dies. These here, this one creates this kind of cover, which is really nice with this little sort of hole here for your arrow. And this one creates the cover. Now, I'm just going to reach back down. The difference with the card is that we don't use the cover. So you don't need the cover, but it's designed for the sidekick journal page with the cover. Okay. So we're going to put these ones to one side for the moment because they're not part of the actual mechanism. So there are 3 sort of the rounder dies, and they're all labelled. So I'm going to start getting them out. So this is A, and you can see the A here. This is B, and you can see I've written ×2 because I need to cut that one out twice. So these, now when I've seen the Elizabeth Craft demo, the lady called them bananas, so I'm going to call them the bananas as well. And you need to cut that die out twice because you need 6 bananas. Then you've got C here, and then you've got 3 arrows. Now, I should just keep this card up for the moment, shouldn't I? On one like this, the arrow, can you see? The arrow that is on this part of the shutter mechanism is long enough. But when you use it on here, if I actually can hear, if I was to have that, it would disappear under here. So you use these to extend. So you've got this one which goes at the back, can also go at the front, and then you've got two other more decorative ones to go on the top. Now, you need to think carefully about what you're choosing. So I've kind of tried to colour code it here. So this black part is A, okay. C is the craft part, and B is all in white, including the arrows. Those parts there are the parts that will be visible. And so unless you want to do it in white card and ink it each time, then you need to consider, what colour. So for example, here I've done the shutter mechanism in cream and the arrow and this in blue. That said, these parts, not only are they the visible parts and you need to consider your colours, they are also the parts that are the main function of the mechanism. Okay, these two kind of hold the bits together, but these are the main parts. So you need to make sure that you are using a reasonably heavy cardstock. Okay, I would say you don't want to go below a 240 and preferably a 300. The reason you need two of these is you actually even stick two of these together because that makes it even stronger. Now, there's a few other things I learned while fiddling around with these and trying to learn how to put them together. On the Elizabeth Crafts instructions, they talk about using glue dots, and I was like, oh, really? And I thought, surely you can do it with glue. Well, you can, but my goodness, is it fiddly to do it with glue, and it doesn't hold as quickly. So I have to say, hats off, and absolutely, I would also recommend that you get glue dots for putting these mechanisms together. You need about 12. You need about 20, possibly a few more for each mechanism, and I think there's I don't know, there's 100 or 200 on the roll. These are 5mm ones, and I wouldn't suggest any smaller, but 5mm works really well. What else do you need? You will need foam pads. Without a doubt, you will need foam pads or foam tape or something, and it needs to be fairly thick because once, if I can show you this on the side, in order for the mechanism to work, it needs to be raised up. And so you need some fairly thick foam tape or foam pads. Okay. The other thing, make sure you've got to hand are paper clips. I tried using my pegs and actually they got in the way. So definitely paper clips are what you need.
Pam missed the start. What was the brand and name of the die set?
Right, so this is Elizabeth Craft Designs, and this is the iris shutter. I know the iris. I keep wanting to say Irish. I'm sorry to Irish people, but it's an iris shutter. It's basically like the bit on the camera that when you take a photo, it opens and closes. So that's what we're doing. So this is Elizabeth Craft's iris shutter. So we are going to go through the process of making this. Now, as I said to you before, we need 2 of these. So I've already cut one, and we need 2 lots of these. So again, I've already cut one. Now this card, please don't ask me where I got it. It was from a lovely lady on my local market stall. I was a primary school teacher, and we had to do an Egyptian display, and I thought it looked like sand. So I've got lots of these like offcuts. Anyway, perfect for this because again, this is a beach theme, so it's like sand. So I'm going to need to cut another one of these and another one of these out of this card. I'm just going to start sort of lining up what I need. And I'm going to cut all the arrows out of it, and then we'll have a decide on what we're going to use to extend it. Okay, so these two parts of the mechanism will not be seen. So don't use your good cardstock on those, but I still would recommend that you use a strong cardstock. Again, I've used craft or black. The other thing I've done, and I will cut them out anyway, but I have as I've been running other things through, because I'm sure you appreciate when you're doing prep, you're cutting lots of things to keep going. Every time I've had a little bit of a space on my board, I've just been running some of these mechanism parts through. So I've kind of, in my little, this is also an Elizabeth Crafts one, pizza box, I've just built up a bit of a stash of bits of mechanism. So, you know, that way you can always put one together quite quickly, particularly if you do it in white, because you can ink it for whatever colour. But I will cut them all the pieces out to show you. So I have got a piece of craft card here. So we're going to do part A and part C out of craft card. So these are all the bits that we need for the mechanism. So I'm going to take them down, and then we're going to run them through the machine. Now this cardstock, this one here, is a coated cardstock. So I want to run everything through on low pressure, but that one may not cut. We will see. Okay. Now I'll tell you what else you'll find. Well, you may not. It may just be me. All of these right. No, I'm going to take this off because I love this. All of these dies, these ones. Obviously, you don't need the centre for the mechanism, but Elizabeth Crafts haven't just gone right. Okay, that will be a waste. Look here. That the actual there's a design. So all these little circles, and look, this is how sad I am. Look, here they all are. Keep hold of them. I mean, I've used some of them on the page, but these things are just brilliant. They're also absolutely the perfect size for knowing what you can put in at the back of your Irish shutter. So don't throw those bits away. I just think that's such a thoughtful, thing to do. It's not taking up any more space on the die. It's just making that little bit that would normally just be a plain waste circle. I'm just making sure I've got these on. I know I'm talking because I'm a little bit excited about all of these. I'm absolutely loving all of this stuff. I've become a little bit of an addict since I was given these. I was given these and one other set of dies to play with, and it's just kind of like snowballed in my head about, I could do this and this and this. So I'm absolutely loving all of these. So we are going to put these through the machine. So we'll go down this way. We'll see how well they cut with just the one pass and the not too much pressure. We'll go with it and see. Bear with me. Everything's just. Oh, you probably can't see it, but everything's just slid on my board. On my cutting plate. Sometimes these don't like cutting that way. I found it depends what card you're doing. Sometimes they prefer cutting that way. So it's a case of just getting them to run through, have a look, and if necessary, run them back through again. Oh, well, I just ran my chair into my thing. Now, I think they've all cut, actually. One pass. Yes, everything's cut perfectly. One pass through. So it always pays, whatever machine you've got, to try on a low pressure before you start ramping it up. Right, so, like I said, these lovely little circles. They're just going to go into my box for later and another time. Probably make a little pizza box to put those in. Okay. So put this out. There is my other one of those. So I'm just going to grab my sheet just so that I keep everything together. I've got so many dies at the moment. But this one's popped out. So this is C. Okay, now the one thing I will say, because not had a huge amount of pressure through, you don't always get the letter embossing. So once you've made a few, and believe me, I've made a few now, you do get to recognise which pieces which. So that bit can go to the side for the moment. This piece will pop out. Do these little bits. Pop that out. Okay. Okay. Oh, what's that? It's got stuck in there. Oh, I obviously had something in there from before. Here's our 3 more bananas. Okay. And then now with your arrows, be careful as you pop them out, because like here, again, this is how keep those little bits, because, and I will be using some of the white ones later, you can pop them back in, particularly if you've got a different colour. It looks really, really cool. So start keeping a little pot. I didn't do it to begin with, and I wish I had, but keep those little arrows and little chevrons. Whew, she says, knocking them all out of her box. Right, so here we go. We don't need all 3. I have just cut all 3 out to show you what they look like. I think this one I really like for this particular layout, because it shows you that's the way you've got to turn your iris shutter. So, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these 2 together to create an even stronger base here. Now, bear with me, I've lost the top of my glue, and I'm just trying to keep it going for the moment. I'm going to move the mechanism dies away because I have finished with those for the moment. On there. Bear with me, I've just got to use this needle to get my glue going again. Yeah. Right. Glue. So we're going to glue these 2 together. And I would do this first so that this is dry, because you're going to need it fairly quickly. What you don't want to, sorry, I've just broken a nail, which is not helping. Sorry about that. So get these 2 together, put your fingers in the middle like I have here, and you can feel when it's lined up. Put those 2 together and then squash so that it's all lined up. It's a reasonably forgiving mechanism to an extent, but you do need to try as best you can. Now, this is what I kept forgetting, is if you want to extend the arrow, you need to do it now. So I am going to, because otherwise you won't see it here. Okay, so I am going to put the plain one on one side. So we're going to stick that down. Now I could, if I wanted to, just stick a plain one on the other side, and there's no reason you can't. Now with this again, put your fingers on the inside. You should be able to feel that that's hit the curve at the right place. Okay, and turn it over. And then you've got the chevron or you've got the arrow. And I am going to use the arrow because I think that's quite fun sort of to show you the direction to move the shutter. Okay, and then this one goes at the front. So this has extended that arrow. If I just grab the die, you'll see what I mean. So it cuts it, and it's usually that length, and now we've extended it just that much further. And like I say, without that would barely be able to be seen. And I am also going to go into my little box, and I'm going to find, I'm sure I had one, little white arrow that I am going to put in here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in there, and then so you don't have like this sort of dent in there, and it sort of gives it a nice contrast. So put that to one side now. We don't need this, so it's going to go in my box for another time. Now, the next thing you need is this. This is part A, and you need your bananas, and you need paper clips. Now, I can't remember the name of the lady, and I do apologise, who did the Elizabeth Crafts thing, but she used 2 clips. I find I need more, but it is personal preference. Now, these are the bits that need to go through here. Okay, so you slip it in there, and then if you slide it out the top, so it just shows there, and then line it up with the circle. And if you get your fingers in the middle, that really does help to keep things in line. Okay, so I'm going to do, whoops, just one, another one. So put it in, push that bit up, and then line it up. And now the lady did one after every after 3. I find that I need to do it after 2. I do need to then fiddle around with it. So in, push that top bit out, bring it round. Yeah. So again, I'm going to show it from different angles. Put it in, make sure the top bit shows there, bring it round. And that's where, again, I would fiddle with it. It's really, this is quite important to try and make sure these bits are lined up. These are the bits that are going to create that shutter in the middle, and it's really, really important that you get them. Now, you're like, well, where is it? It's under here. So you just literally lift those, pop that in, and bring it round. And the same with the last one. The recess is under there, so pop that in, bring it round. So now I have all 6 of my my parts of the iris shutter in. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going to get a piece out on a different colour card because it'll probably be easier to see. Right, yes, it is easier to see maybe on that one. I haven't got the other colours to do. Right, so it's not so easy to see on my coated cardstock there, but on the end of each banana is this little, it looks to me like a little sun. Now, those are really important. If you do try to use glue as opposed to glue dots, it really is important that you only put dots of glue on in the right places, because if you get glue in the wrong places, the mechanism will not work. So, glue dots. I have to admit, not the easiest thing to use at the best of times. Put my fabric scissors away. So I need one on the tip of each of those. So I am going to cut them individually. I have found it so much easier if they are not all on the roll. So
Pam would like to know if instructions are included with the die.
No. However, the way I learned how to do it was to look at the video that, well, you can either watch me back, because I am doing exactly what the lady on the Elizabeth Crafts video did. So this will be on, you'll put this one on a video on our YouTube, won't you? So this will be, this video, this demo I'm doing now will be on our YouTube channel, but Elizabeth Crafts also have got their own video tutorial of how to put it, and that's how I learned to do it. There are no instructions on the packet. Okay, so yes, you will need to have a look. If you, I expect at some point I will attempt to do a written step-by-step on my blog. but I will endeavour to do that over the next week because I know some people learn better by reading and looking at pictures. Some people learn better by watching. So I will try to get a step-by-step with photos and words. Okay, so the idea now is you need to put a glue dot onto each of these. And that's why I've cut it, because I just found it so much easier. And unfortunately for you, I've got to turn it this way. Because when you turn the glue dot, piece of paper like that, you can barely see where the glue dot is. I don't know, you might be able to with the lighting on the camera, but I can't. So I found that holding it up that way in front of my sort of face, I can see where the glue dot is. I can hold the bottom piece of paper. I can have a look to see if if it's not exactly in the centre, it's fine, but you need to be roughly in that area. And then I'm just pushing it down. And at this point, I don't take the paper off. I found it easier not to take the paper off at this point. You will, like I said, I thought, yeah, I can use glue. And this bit is not so bad. But when you get to further steps, it became just like, oh my goodness. And particularly for well, it's just for ease, really. This was so much easier. And you'll find your own little quirks. So, for example, I wish I could remember the lovely lady's name. I know it begins with E, and I know it's not Els. It wasn't Els that was doing it. But she was taking the tape off as she went. But I found that for me, I prefer to keep the tape on, because now, before I do anything, I can give them a really, really good press before I take them off. Okay, now you're going to need this bit now. That's why I stuck this earlier. So this is all now nice and firm, ready to go on here. So I'm going to take off. Oh, see, that one's coming. See, once you press them firm, the backing comes off really easily. And then you get full of static and then you're covered. Okay, right, so there we go. I'm going to get rid of those bits of paper. You can see this is like a wheel, like a ship's wheel, if you like, with these spokes coming out, except there's none here, okay? And that's important because that's the bit where the arrow is going to go up and down. So we're going to stick this on the top now, but what you need to do, and I'm going to, because of that, I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to move this around because that one's in a vital area. Okay. This is where you really need to just go and do a little bit of adjusting, make sure it's all lined up, because once you stick this bit down, this is pretty much it in terms of where the mechanism is going to go. So, okay. So this arrow, now I'm right-handed, so I've got it round this way. It's easier. If you're left-handed, you might find it easier to have it round that way. This part of the arrow here needs to be just past this, not like round here, but just a couple of millimeters, because this bit's going to fold up in a minute, so you don't want it over it. It just needs to be literally just past. So I do apologise for the overhead camera, because I do need to now get my head over the top of this. So you might, at the moment, you're probably seeing a lovely view of my roots, probably at the moment. So I'll come back a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that this is over there, just past that bit, and I'm going to press it down and then remove my paper clips and then give it a really, really good press. So hopefully now you can see that I have put this literally just a couple of millimeters past this, and then I've got all that open space there. Okay, now the next thing to do is for these to come across. But if I was to stick these to this, then this isn't going to move. So this is where part C comes in, the other part of the mechanism that you don't see. It's going to go over here like that. Okay, and these are going to fold. So I need more glue dots. This, like I said, the previous bit I kind of got away with when I tried glue. this bit was a nightmare when I tried to do it with just glue. So this was the bit that, oh, look at my glue dots and they're there. This is the bit that said to me, you know what, you do really need to use glue dots. It's so much easier. So I need, I'm just making sure I'm doing this right. Yes. So there's another part where you need more than 6 and I'm thinking, doubting myself. Yeah, I've been watching a fair bit of crafting TV, and I tell you, I'm no professional at this. I'm lucky enough to be able to do a bit of it, but it did make me feel better watching some of the professional ladies who on the live on TV have gone, oh no, I've stuck that in the wrong place, or oh, I've got the measurements wrong, because sometimes you think, oh, how stupid can I be when I get it wrong? But it happens. So, but I think I'm all right at the moment. So glue dots again. Now I'm going to put them on the ends of these. And again, it's easier for me if I turn it up and I can see where that goes. And again, I'm not taking the paper off yet. I'm just going to stick my glue dots on the ends. So, yeah.
What size glue dots?
These are 5mm glue dots. They are just the perfect size. For the last stage where I use glue dots, you can get away with bigger ones. But for the 2 bits that we've just done, for putting on top of these banana bits and for putting on the ends of these like spokes, if you like, these 5mm ones are perfect. Okay, so I am really, really pushing these down to make sure they are secure. Like I say, once you've pressed them down and they're secure on the card, the backing comes off quite easy. And if the backing doesn't come off quite easy, you know you haven't got those pressed down hard enough. So like I said, if I was to fold those over onto this, then the mechanism would not turn. So that's where part C comes in. So part A and part C are the bits that the colour is kind of irrelevant. The shutter part and part B, to some extent, you need to make sure you've either chosen your colour or ink them before you assemble. So this is literally going over. Try and make sure it's lined up. Now, what you don't want to do is to really push this down, because you'll be restricting this mechanism. So it's just a case of folding these over. And I think that's part of the reason why glue dots works better than glue, because although I may well put a few paper clips on these, in order to get the glue to stick, you've really got to squeeze really hard, and you don't want to squash the mechanism too much. So all I'm doing literally is picking that up, and I'm not kind of forcing it, I'm just literally folding it over so it touches like that. I'm hoping my glue dots are strong enough. I had some old ones. You know what you're like, you buy things years ago, you think, oh, I'll keep those, I'm not using them now. So I did have some old glue dots in my stash. I thought, yeah, they'll be fine. They weren't strong enough. Now, you can probably see that the mechanism has kind of like taken a breath, kind of expanded again, because I haven't like pulled these over tight. Now this is the moment of truth, and it might not, on first try, it might take a little bit of wiggling for everything to get in its right place. So this is where, bear with me, there you go. This is where the shutter now works. Okay, so our mechanism is made. Now these bits here, can you see when I, bear with me, it's hard to do, hold it and to turn it. Let's get it to turn. Oh, it's because I'm trying to turn it the wrong way, that's why. So if I go You know, I was talking about when you realise you've made mistakes live. Well, I have just realised I've made a mistake. You know my lovely arrow that I wanted to show which way to turn the mechanism? I got it upside down because that's the front of my mechanism. But hey ho, we'll live with it. This is the back of the mechanism. This is the bit that's going to go down. You see they move. It's what I was trying to show you. Those little bits move. So they, at no point do you want those to be stuck anywhere. But they do show. So you can just fold them down. It doesn't stop the mechanism working. It just stops them from being visible. There you go. So now my lovely arrow is going to be hidden. But that's okay. So that is my mechanism made. That's it. Okay. Done. Sorted. So I'm going to put that to one side and we're going to have a look at the rest of what we've got. So bear with me. I want to try and keep tidy today because I've got so many bits that I don't really want to be either losing bits or putting things where I can't find them. Okay, mechanism done. Next part is I'm going to cut out this part. So let's look at these. These are the other two dies that come with it. We've finished with all the shutter mechanism dies, and these are the bits that help us to present it or to cover things up. So this part, now this is made, as I was telling you before, this is from the Planner Essentials, and this will is designed to fit on the smaller Sidekick planner page. Now, I don't have either a Sidekick planner or the A5, so I decided to go for the bigger one, and I've made the page. This is one of the Elizabeth Crafts page dies to cut my page out, and you can see that it fits really well. There's no reason you can't use it on the bigger journal, but you can put it on the smaller one too. So that's the cover, and we're going to cut that out of my card here. So I'm just going to cut that down. I don't need all of that. I'm just thinking, no, I don't need to cut anything else out of that either. So we're going to cut that there. Now, this one is this bit that covers here, and I've made it to look like one of those life ring things. I have, and I just need to check. I think I've already cut it out of the white. I think I need to cut it out of the blue. Yes, so I'm going to cut this out of the blue. Now, for my decoration, I've gone back to a dice that I had 2 weeks ago. I think I used this one. This is Amy Design. Yeah, Amy Design Underwater World Sea Life. And I am using it for the shells and the bubbles. So I've already cut out some, but I'm going to cut these ones out in the blue. So I want the starfish, the 2 shells, and the bubbles. And while I'm running through the die cutting, just want to make sure I've got everything else that I need. I did cut out the same ring in the craft card for those little bits. There's no point me cutting it out again, sorry, because I can just cut more little bits out of that, so I don't need to cut that one again. And the page, I think I've got enough of those cut, but I'll show you the dies. So here's my pack. Yeah, I think I've got enough of that? Yeah. So let me show you which ones I've used. More in. So I haven't used any of these ones yet, so I have yet to find my projects for this, but I've only had them a couple of weeks. So I've used these ticket ones that fold round. So if I go over it, you can see it folds over. I've used the fish here and the cameras at the back, and I've also used the cameras on there, and I used the fish in there. So I think I have enough. So I'm not going to bother cutting anymore for now. If necessary, I can quickly run it through. What am I losing now? My snail, right. So many things. Have I finished with that? Put that to one side. Those are, what's that for? Oh, that's what it's for. Right. Let's get my plate in. This down to cut. Now hopefully these should all cut in one pass. Let's grab my tape. I don't know why I'm getting new tape out. I'm going to put that this side because I have a whole table full of tape over here. Sometimes when you put, well, sometimes, whenever really you're putting multiple dies or multiple pieces of card down, it's a good idea to anchor your card to the board, particularly if, like me, you get warping plates, because you think they're on nice and straight. You pick up your plates, you move them, and you find that your bits of card have slid, and either the die is no longer in line with the card, or the card's overlapped, or the dies have overlapped. So you anchor it to your plate as well. It's a good idea. See, it sounds like it's cutting fine. We will have a look. Excuse me, it's trying to get at the back of my Gemini. It's awkward angle. Oh, that all looks pretty cool. So let's see, even this one, you get another little circle to add to your collection. Move those over. Oh, I've lost one. I've lost a shell. Not on the board. I bet it's on the floor. Oh well, it's not essential. It'll probably be stuck to me somewhere. Never mind. Keep going. Another little circle to add to my box. I will probably end up coming up with a project to use all those circles for. Let's put these ones back before I lose them. Always with your little dies, make sure you put them somewhere safe. These are the ones that, well, you can see, like, I've already lost the die cut. They are very easy to get caught on things, to end up going in the bin. So always try to put your little dies back. Now, so these are the bits. These are just, you could choose whatever. Oh, I know what I didn't cut. I'll go back and do that in a moment. In which case I might just die cut that extra. I didn't die cut my sentiment. I'm just going to put these to one side so I have them. I didn't die cut my sentiment. Now, I don't have anything really in my stash that was kind of suitable for this. So I literally just sized one up on the computer that would fit one of these circles, and that's pretty much your guide. If it will fit underneath that circle, then it will show in your iris shutter. So I need to cut that. So I'm just going to stick that down, and I am going to use a bit of tape, and I am going to see if I've got get that bit of card back, and I'm going to cut that shell again as I'm running it through. I might as well cut that other one there. So let's put this back through the machine, and then we've got all the bits ready to assemble our page. Shouldn't be a problem, because that is literally, it's not copier paper. It's slightly heavier than copier paper, but it is still paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that onto one of those circles that I've got in my little stash. Right. Right, I'm not going to lose that this time. Right back in the pack. Back in the bin. And I don't really need that paper one, so I am going to put that there. I have my sentiment, and before I lose that, I'm just going to grab, I'm probably going to go for a craft one. Oh no, that's not, that's the purple one. I'm going to stick this on there, and it gives it a little bit of rigidity. Let's see whether my glue's dried up. Yep, let's get the pin in there. My own fault. I knew I broke it off. It's this Cosmic Shimmer one. It comes with that little bit that's attached. You know, the lid's attached, so you're never going to lose it. Yeah, but I always seem to manage, usually about halfway, and I think I'm about halfway. I usually manage to then snap it off. So, which is what I've done. And then I think it must have ended up in the bin when I was doing my clear up late last night when I finished my prep. So there we go. So that is now a little bit more rigid for our sentiment. Okay, let's take this bit off. Oh, look! And now I found the other shell. Never mind, got two now. So we now have all our pieces. I'm just going to pop my die back in the pack so it's all together. So I've got some bits already prepared here. Now, like I say, in with Elizabeth Craft Designs, they usually have what sort of collection they're in. So for this, the planners, the things that fit in the A5 planner, the Sidekick planner, these are all planner essential dies, and there are loads. Some will actually cut pages that fit with fancy edges, and this is one of them. I think it came with numbers as well. I'm pretty sure Barry sold out of this one though. But I used 2 pieces of paper. I cut the 2 pieces of paper, I put them sort of wrong sides together so that they would definitely fit. So this is 2 bits of paper, and it's made it much more sort of solid. So if you are cutting pages out and you want to use pattern papers, because why not, then that's sort of a little tip you could do. So I've got my 2 mats, and I've used a corner rounder to make it look a little bit nice. I'm trying to think why I've got bits of, oh, I know why I've got bits of cards there. Now this is where we have to bring our mechanism back in. But first of all though, I am going to put this matte layer on. Put this on. When I was sort of prepping this, there are so many possibilities with this shutter die. Excuse me. Things like camera lenses and binoculars and telescopes, and or you know, just if you want something on your image to be the focal part, or you want something, it's just really lovely. And providing you use the heavy enough card, it is really quite a durable thing. Now I managed to smear glue all down there. Hopefully that will be covered by my sentiment. Right, so we now need our mechanism to come back in, and see, my glue dots have held. It's worth having decent glue dots. So we now need to fix this to here. Okay. And you need to remember, because the first time I put this together, I completely forgot. You need to shut your mechanism. Okay, so make sure the iris is shut before you try to position it with this, because I had it closed, positioned my arrow here, and then it was like, oh, because the arrow wants to go that way. So make sure you position it that way. So close it, and you need glue dots again. I don't know. I'm just looking at the time. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have time to do the other card. I will do a video of the other card. When you're not using this, you're going to need 3D foam. You're going to need your no, you're not going to, you need 3D foam on the back rather than on the back of this, which is what we're going to do. Sorry, I probably just confused you. Just kind of ignore what I just said. I will, look, because we're an hour in and I've got another, I've got the other one to do. So I'm pretty sure this will be it for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 8 here. 7, 8. So yeah, we'll do a video. It'll probably be next week when we record it to show how to use the mechanism, not with this cover piece. So you need why you need. I would put the glue between these bits. So 1 glue dot between each of the bits here. Again, like I've done before, applying them but leaving the backing on, and it's better to attach it to this, because if any of your glue dots on here come a little bit loose, you're not then attached to something that's going to become loose. So I've got those there. I might need another one. Just looking at it. Oh no, that's where it is. Day for losing things. So I put 3 on this bit of the mechanism here. Okay. Yeah, so who was the lady that was asking about instructions? Pam. So Pam, I will, like I said, we'll do another video next week of a card. So there'll be a couple of videos on our YouTube site to show you, and hopefully I'll try and do you a sort of a written step-by-step on how to use the mechanism. Okay, so pulling these off. They're coming off nicely, which shows I pushed them down enough. That one possibly not. Right, so what you have to do now is, this aperture is pretty much the aperture that is here. So it's a case of hovering, and again, it's where you might end up seeing the back of my head. Hovering over it, and you do need to be over it. It's like when you do decoupage, it won't line up otherwise. And then you want to kind of work out where you want the arrow to be sitting. The arrow, the lever, whatever you like to call it. So I'm going to go with, that. I think I can just get it to go down over that. And then I'm just going to push that down onto the glue dots. Okay, and then I'm just going to check that my mechanism is working. Excellent. Okay, so now we need to turn over. Now this, if you were here at the beginning, I said you need some, I don't know what depth this is. I'm going to just try and see if I can work it out on my ruler. I think it might be 3 mil. I think it's 3 mil depth foam pads. These were, I didn't have any of the, would be nice if I'd had like the tape or the bigger ones, but these were what I have, and they absolutely do the trick. So I'm putting 3 up there, and then another 6 down here. I mean, it's up to you how much support you want to put on it, but these really are to lift up, because what you don't want, remember, this is probably show you better now. This is, you can see these move. You do not want to restrict the movement of those at all. So you need the depth on your foam pads, foam tape, whatever it is you're going to use. So, where's my, let's see these things. I'm looking straight at the thing I want. So this is something I doing live. Like, oh, I need to get the backs of these off. And I know when I watch the people on the telly doing it, they always don't bother with those, and I always think, well, I do appreciate they're giving there we go. It's because I'm starting to talk about other people. I do appreciate that they give support, but I would still rather they were all stuck. But of course, whatever you prefer to do. This is why I have one pokey tool for gluey stuff and one for non-gluey stuff, if I remember to do them properly. There we go. Right, so all the foam pads are off. And then this then sticks on to my page there. Okay, so I'll give those foam pads a press. And again, I'm going to check my mechanism. My mechanism is still working. That's good. So now we just need to decorate. So I already have cut my white part for my life ring. To get these in proportion, literally, I've cut it in half and in half again. I'm going to use this glue this time if it's working. No, we'll go back to this one. And I'm going to glue this one there. And because they're cut out of the same die, they will fit absolutely exactly over the top. And then I'm going to, it doesn't matter if it's not exact, but it's roughly. Okay, and then I am going to cut 4 bits, sort of slightly triangular, but it doesn't matter if they're not. 2, 3, 4. And again, they don't all look the same size either. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue. My thin one, unfortunately, is clogged up at the moment, so we're just going to have to go with the big one. And again, these are I'm not putting them over the top. I'm butting them up. Good job. This is acrylic dries. The Cosmic Shimmer dries clear glue because I've got glue everywhere because I haven't got my fine nozzle. Yeah, so you literally just butt those up there. But the possibilities with this die are only limited by what you can imagine. So, and then that fits over there. And I have made a big mistake. It's not unrectifiable though. But I'm going to show you, this is why you don't do what I've just done. I have forgotten to put my little imagey bit underneath. So look, there's nothing there. Right. We're going to have to try and rectify that. So that goes on. I knew there'd be a bit I'd forget. So I've got that there. I've got that. I'm going to go with the blue one and a craft one for my message. That's up there. Right. So let's rectify my problem here. Now, what I did before is I took one of the white circles, where you keep everything, and I stuck my fish on there, stuck it down first, and then hovered this over. But I haven't done that, obviously. So I need to find a blue. It's a blue fish. And now if I had let's say, for example, if that was what I wanted to, it would be a little bit tricky to get in. I think I'm lucky in that I'm only putting a couple of bits and I can just stick it straight onto there. So I might have saved this one. But that is one to remember, is to, whatever your image is going to be, to get that stuck down before you put the bit on. Lesson learned, lesson learned. But I am going to try and unblock this because I do need do these things off camera. think I've got that. Yeah. Okay, right. So tweezers. Right, let's see if we can do this. Bit like playing that game Operation. We have to reach in and try not to touch other things. Right, there's one fish. We need his eye. I think we might have saved it. Phew, relief. And Jesus. Goodness me. That was a close one. Like I say, thankfully on this one I hadn't got a pre-stamped image or message to go in there. Phew. Right, so we can just finish this off now. We're going to just I'm going to stick those three together before we do anything else. That one there, that there, and then I'm going to use a bit of 3D glue. In fact, I'm not. Hold your horses. I'm going to turn it over before I do anything else here. I'm going to close that. I'm going to turn it over because just to show you, I might not do the whole of this, but just to show you, in fact I won't do it. What I did on the back was to put this with 3 mats and then 3 of the camera things, but I won't do that now for now because that's not overly important for what we're doing. Put that to one side and let's get all my little bits and pieces. Come on out. Right, turn you back over. So let's get you on and then we'll just do our little bit of arrangement here. So put some glue gel on because that's going to sit just off of there. We want it to stick. Okay. So this literally is just going to be a quick assemblage because I'm quite aware of the time and that I've still got another quite big demo to go. So I'm just gonna, there is no kind of rhyme or reason to the way I'm doing these. I'm just a little assemblage of bits to go with the beach theme. Remember, this is from Amy Designs Underwater Sea Life. There are a couple of videos on our YouTube channel of projects that I have previous. Oh no, blue next. Put that one down. Blue one here, didn't I? Yeah, of other projects that I've made with that Amy Design set. Way, ping! Everything's pinging everywhere. Let me bring my little pot in. That. And the starfish and the bubbles. This is this set comes with like, you know, like a seaweedy sandy bit as well, but just for these kind of little beachy themes, these little shells. Sorry, shells. Brain was gone then. Are just brilliant, and I love the little bubbles. Love these little bubbles. Oh, and then the white. Oh, already got glue on that one, haven't I? And bubbles on. I would take more care. I am just wanting to make sure that I get time for the other demonstration. And the last thing I'm going to do then is to put on the reinforcer. So this is reinforcement pack 2. And these are what I was saying to you. These ones fold. So they're going to go, I'm going to glue them this side like that, and then they fold over and glue at the back as well. So I really like these ones. They give that an even more sort of support. So put those ones on at the top and bottom of my page.
What's the diameter of the eye mechanism? Do you know? I think
of this. Right, I will find out centimeters or inches. Let's do them both. The diameter, in centimeters, is about 3.8, I think. It's always hard with the circle to know if you've got right in the middle. I think that's 3.8 centimeters and 1.5 inches. Somebody will tell me that doesn't work because 3.8 centimeters an inch. I don't know. I have no concept of the two. Let's put that on the back. Okay, and then I'm not going to worry about the cameras on the back because we haven't done the pic, but I will put my little fish on the front. I'm just loving these. It surprised me, to be honest with you, actually how much this seemingly odd, seemingly very simple die set is actually one that I really enjoy. I think I've put these around. Oh no, I haven't. The white ones there. Does it matter? It doesn't matter if I don't do them the same way around. There's the fish. Okay, and then I've got blue ones, haven't I? I've got 2 blue ones. There's a blue one. I have another blue one. Oh no, I don't. We're gonna have to have 2 craft ones because I don't have 2 blue ones, and I can't possibly have different colours. Just not possible. So we'll go with craft there as well. That's because I think I used a blue one in there. Right, so there we go. So this is using the Iris Shutter Die set from Elizabeth Crafts, which comes in, well, the thing is with these die sets, there's so much to them. I put the other bit down, didn't I? Here we go. So all of these parts make up the mechanism. So all these parts make up the mechanism. So they're marked A, B, C, the bananas and the arrows. And then these 2 parts are the decorative parts, the one for this part and here. And I've also used the Planner Essentials Reinforcement Pack 2, along with the Amy Design set. So really, the possibilities with that die set are endless.